Welcome to Feel Good Friday. We have different topics on navigating conflict, establishing boundaries, identifying your emotions and being able to communicate better, basically improving the quality of your life. And our Feel Good Friday topic for tonight is breaking away from relationships that don't serve. Okay, so we're talking about relationships that are not healthy for us. And breaking away from those relationships can be challenging, but ultimately necessary for our well-being. So the idea here of our Feel Good Friday is that it is a 15-minute, it's basically a 15-minute tune in, a tap in, and a touch base moment where if you need a little uplifting, you need a little motivation, inspiration for either your day, your week, your month. So let's get to tonight's topic. So I want to highlight some specific thoughts, some specific ideas. These may be even journal prompts you may want to consider. So some things to consider with breaking away from relationships that don't serve us is first identifying if this is even something that really is not serving us. And then a way to identify that is looking at our values. What are the things that are really important to us? Once you take time to actually establish your values, then we can kind of use that as a way to gauge and navigate, is this relationship actually unhealthy? And it also helps us to identify why and how the relationship is not healthy for us. So reflect on how it makes us feel, reflecting on what your needs are, reflecting on whether those needs are being met in that relationship. Once you've identified your values, you've determined where this relationship lies in relation to those values, making a clear decision. Once you've given enough time for assessing the relationship, make a clear decision whether you are actually ending it. And why I know that sounds a little strange as to, well, why do we need to be so clear about that, Danny? Is because if we're not clear about it, we can become very wishy-washy. Okay, we said we're not going to do this anymore, but then we said and our actions, our behaviors say otherwise. So we end up being very inconsistent with ourselves. So go into this, once you make that decision of, okay, I have determined, I've identified this relationship is not healthy for me. I can see that by comparing it to the values and the things that are important to me. Now go into this knowing that there are going to be difficult times. Prepare yourself mentally, prepare yourself emotionally. And now the following points and ideas that I want to bring up are, if you have to have a conversation with this person, not every dynamic is where you have to have a conversation with the person. Perhaps maybe the dynamic is a breakup and you already have been broken up with this person, and now you're just doing a little bit of inner work and inner healing in letting this person go. I'm not saying you need to now call them back and reach out to them after you have no longer been in contact with them. That's going to be a different healing. Now, if you're avidly connecting with this person and now you're making this decision and now you do need to have a conversation, now we're going into those following steps. So making sure choosing a time and a place that is going to be ideal for that conversation to be had. You want this to be a place where you are both able to express yourselves freely. And on the topic of having a conversation, be honest and direct. So when talking to this person, be honest about your feelings and reasons for ending the relationship, expressing yourself kindly, but also very firmly. And also make sure to allow that other person to express their feelings too. Listen and validate their emotions, even if you don't agree with the perspective or their perspective. Okay, so let's just say now that we're back on topic, that was just a little sidestep to if you do have to have a conversation with the person in person. And now, once you've already done that, or for people who don't necessarily have to do that, setting boundaries. So we've already had the conversation, or we don't need to have a conversation. We're now just moving forward. Set boundaries for yourself, establishing boundaries to give yourself space and time to heal. This might include limiting contact for a while or avoiding certain places. Seek support. It's going to be really important to use this time to lean on your friends, lean on family, utilize a therapist or a counselor, seek out professional mental health support. Focus on yourself, focus on self-care, investing in time, invest your time in activities that nurture your well-being and your happiness, making sure you're taking care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, because when we're in this sort of space, it can affect us. It can affect our sleep, it can affect our appetite, it can affect our mental health and our mood. So really focusing on pouring back into your cup. Reflect and learn. My final thing is to reflect and learn. Reflecting and learning from the experience. Use the experience as an opportunity for growth. Reflect on what you've learned about yourself and the relationship, which can guide you in future dynamics. So breaking away from a relationship can be painful, regardless of we're talking an intimate relationship, a job relationship, maybe the job is no longer healthy for you or for your mental health. Regardless, any sort of breaking away can be painful, but remember that prioritizing your own happiness and your well-being is important. Trust yourself and give yourself the time and space needed to heal and to move forward. So that wraps up our Feel Good Friday, breaking away from relationships that don't serve. And what I mean, by the way, when I say don't serve, I don't mean that you're out and you're just connecting with people to get something from them, meaning don't serve as in these relationships are unhealthy for you. They take, and you find yourself walking away feeling really drained. Maybe they have you feeling kind of crazy. Maybe they invalidate how you're feeling. But you notice that this relationship may not really be healthy for you, and perhaps you're in question if you should break away from it or not. Or perhaps you have already broken away from this relationship and maybe you're struggling, maybe you're coming across some challenges or some bumps in managing your emotions and your thoughts.